What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Got a battle for you. Let's get into it. This one's going to be a little bit different, guys. Bear with me. I know that we're normally doing EDC gear, pocket knives, pry bars, pins, all that good stuff, but I do value a good set of Bluetooth earbuds, and I want to do a head-to-head comparison in my experience of the Raycon Everyday Buds versus the JBL 125s. So what we're going to do, it's just going to be a very simple run through. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty with these. I'm just going to talk about some of the differences that I've noticed, the pros and cons, and things of that nature. So I'm going to start with the charging case. Both have a USB-C charge port. I do personally prefer the JBL charger just because it lays flat. So as far as carrying it in my backpack and my Data Crew What Slide, when I'm heading to the gym, I like to grab this. This has a couple of different things in there that I grab and just carry that by hand out to. So I do like the thinness of this. It does take up less space, but both function very well. The other reason that I like this, I do think the access to the JBLs are a little bit easier to get to as far as opening. I could not, if my life depended on it, open this with one hand easily. Maybe no, can't do it that way. So I do like the JBL's ease of access. With the larger hands, the Raycon case is a little bit harder to get into, but as you can see there, they both have indicators here as far as the battery life is concerned. You have 3 lights on the JBL, you have 4 on the Raycons. They both immediately start seeking to sync up to the device, which I do appreciate. I have found with both of these, if you take one out, they go into mono mode, and then that one is going to, this one here is trying to sync up because I desynced it from my phone. But they both go into mono mode, which is really appreciated. I do like that when I'm at the desk trying to work. If I want to listen to like a podcast about sports or something like that, I'll throw one in one ear, whichever one it is. It doesn't matter. They both will go into the mono mode, which is really, really great. Now, the size difference on these are very interesting. So I'm just going to grab the right out of each for the size comparison here. You do see that the Raycon Everyday Bud is just a little bit smaller, and then the direction that it faces when it goes in the ear is up like this, whereas this one here faces forward. So the position's a little bit different. This one here, it does have a shorter stem in front of the driver, and I think that's because it can go further into the ear and it's a little bit lower profile. This one sticks out of the ear a little bit more, but I'm going to circle back into why I think that is. I did opt for the 125s because they have the soft touch physical click button on here like the Raycon. I do appreciate that because sometimes for the touch functions that are not a physical button, those I sometimes bump when I'm trying to reposition those types of buds into the ear. That's the next thing that I want to talk about is the Raycons when I'm cutting grass or I'm working out in the gym. Even though I'm using the one that fits the best because I tried to go a little bit smaller and a little bit bigger and those sizes didn't work for me, these do tend to, and I think maybe part of it is because they don't go into the canal as far, but also I don't think that they seat with as much of a contact point as the JBL, so these do tend to slip out. I have not experienced that at all with the JBLs whatsoever. I will say one thing that I do like about the Raycons is the right ear, the first touch turns the volume up, and then the left ear turns it down. You have no audio control for volume on the JBLs, which is a big point off for me in that regard. I would have really liked to see that on future versions where one click turns it up in the right ear and then one click in the left ear turns it down. Everything else is the same though. Pause play is right ear. I think pause is 2 clicks and then play is 2 clicks on the right ear. And then I think because this does have an EQ feature built into these, I think that one is one of the upper clicks. I can't really remember what it is off the top of my head. You do not have the bass boost here, so this has one that focuses on audio, and I think like if you were listening to an audiobook, that would really come in handy. Then you have one that's kind of balanced, so if you want a little bit of bass, It's okay. It definitely doesn't work very well for me. I run these with the bass on all the time because even when I'm listening to podcasts and things of that nature where it's just the audio, the bass is just not active. So it seems kind of unnecessary to me, and I think JBL with these accomplish that because these are just tuned so well. So the bass is really good. The audio, as far as the clarity, is really crisp. It's more pronounced. It's just really well done. It's really hard to describe the difference between the two of these for the audio, other than to say that the JBL is of a greater audio quality all the way around, in my opinion. The last thing that I'll touch on with these particular ones is going to be battery life, and I highly encourage you to check the specs on those because I think both are relatively close, like 8 to 9 hours on a single charge with just the buds if you don't put them back in the cases. And I think these offer around 30 hours of total charge time when you put the buds back in there. I can vouch both of these have lasted several weeks carrying them around in the backpack, taking them to the gym, using them out in the yard to cut grass. They've lasted a very long time. Putting them back in and recharging them, no issues with that whatsoever. You do get a lanyard here if you like that. It does make it a little bit nicer for the smaller case, but I found that it's really unnecessary with the JBL. Even if you want to carry these without putting them in a backpack or putting them in an everyday carry pouch, they're going to work really well, guys. But here's the last thing that I'll say. These are $79 regularly. These I found on sale, and I don't know if they're just always on sale because some of those listings say that they're on sale, but it could be just the regular price. It says that they're normally $99, so they're like $20 more. But when I found them, I got them for $89, and I will say, even if it's a $20 difference, the JBLs are definitely worth it. The audio quality is really good. The level of comfort from wearing them is greater than that of the Raycon. Even with the Raycons, because you have to push it further down into the ear canal, a little bit of discomfort after a long period of use for me on the ear from them being in there, and then they don't retain well. They tend to want to slide out and move around when I'm working out or I'm out in the yard doing stuff, and that is something that is important to me. I don't want to have to keep fidgeting with them, which is why I didn't want the touch. Now, having said that, I know that the JBLs retain really well, so I am interested in checking out a different set that does work with the app that actually comes in less than the Raycons. So I will be doing a second version where I touch on those directly and then another comparison on that. But for me, the recommendation is going to be the JBL. Audio quality is there. These are very straightforward. If you just want something you can throw in the ear and go, and you can use your device's equalizer to determine what the audio is going to sound like when it's playing, these are going to be perfect. They're going to be very straightforward, very simple to use. I do like them. Even the controls are simple, even though it doesn't have the volume control available remotely, which I would think would be a big bump up for these. But for me, I can easily recommend the JBL over the Raycons. But that is not dissing the Raycons. The Raycons are very solid. They've performed very well. I've had no issues with them whatsoever. They seem well made, and I've been happy with them for the last several months. But I did want to check something else out based on some feedback that I did get on the Raycons. Let me know what you think. Who would you pick, or do you have even another alternative recommendation outside of these two? Now, Raycons heavily advertised, and I think they're fairly popular because they advertise. JBL's been around a very long time. I like Harman. They're a very good company, and since my teenage years, I've been familiar with JBL, and like I said, they've been around and proven, in my opinion. Thanks for watching the video to this point. It does help the algorithm. Special thank you to those that leave the like, comment, are subscribed, and an extra thanks to those channel members. Being a member does really go a long ways for helping the channel. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.